greatness at track number 9. Stay on the right track and let your light shine. Step by step, reach for what's true. Track number 9, your greatness is waiting for you.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to track number 9. Good morning to our dear sister from the other coast, Sister Cheryl from the West Coast. Good morning. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in. You have your coffee, you have your tea, you have your errand list. Oh wow. Hi, Anne Marie Gentry. Oh my God. It's my really good friend. I can't wait until we have lunch. I'm so glad that you are able to join us this morning. Good morning, Miss Levi. I'm so happy you guys are here. I'm all greased up, nice and shiny. Yeah, I'm nice and greased up. I use Vaseline all year long. Summertime, wintertime, all year long. Hey, Michelle, my good friend, Juanita Brown. Good morning, man. The gang is here. My man Ronnie Smith. Hey, listen, I saw a dang on Facebook post, brother Ronnie. Man, this sister that he was working with, she has lost so much weight. He's one of the best trainers in town. You got to get with my man. He's a good, decent human being. My man Robert Winslow from Rognell Heights. Good morning, dear brother. Another good guy, another good dude, man. Gail Evans, one of the best muralists in town. Some of these murals you riding by, you get to see her work and you don't even realize it. My man Johnny Jones from Living Classrooms. Good morning. Yeah, the first Monday empowerment. Oh, he wanted to know when he going to be able to speak on the thing. I don't know, brother Johnny. We might be able to bring you in the studio real quick after we before we wrap up to talk about the empowerment first Monday empowerment cookout they having. Thank you so much, sister. Well, she says I'm beautiful, girl. Don't make me get up here and smile. I'll be chinning and grinning, giving me them compliments. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna jump right in. This morning is one major thing that's happening here in Baltimore, and I hope that it starts happening statewide and internationally. Right? There is a effort to have, and I have the information right here, to have folks who have been formerly incarcerated that are experiencing some really bad health challenges mentally and everything to have that considered post incarceration syndrome as a public health issue. It's a brother named Kevin Sherd who put out a press release August the 5th. The hearing was August the 5th. The press release came out July the 8th, and he sent this out to all of the news publications. He's working with Councilwoman Felicia Porter on having this declared a real thing because they still sometimes would consider drug abuse as something that, oh, that's their choice. They choose to do that. Hey, Sister Donna Brown, good morning. Yeah, I'm excited about this legislation too, sis. And we're going to talk about it a little bit, but actually, Mr. Sherd, Kevin Sherd, will be on the show after that hearing. The brother said he just needed a little break because there's a whole lot. He got out the gate, man. It got so much attention on this matter, and it hasn't even really taken off. So, and he got his stuff together. But hopefully, we will have Kevin Sherd on the show soon, and we're going to talk about this a little, maybe in the second half of the show. But Mr. Kevin Sherd, like many people, he's the founder of a Life for Life Foundation, and he says that Baltimore could become the first United States city to recognize post-incarcerated syndrome as a public health issue. And again, that reminds me of when it came to drug addiction, like my family members that had those issues, and my aunties, cousins, uncles, people that I knew, my best friends from elementary school, had, that health issue. Well, it took a long time for them to consider drug addiction as public health. They, for a long time, ignored it and said, well, that's people's choice. They wake up and have the choice to do this, that, and the third. But no matter what, it should have long been considered a health crisis because drug addiction has really destroyed the family. And drug addiction caused so many other determinants and so many other outcomes in the family. But before I go down that rabbit hole, I want to talk about this one issue that's far removed from what I just mentioned, but I had to talk about it and I want you to know about it. And of course, you keep a pen. But recently on WYPR, they had August the 6th, they had a story on there. Mary Louise Kelly had published this story and talked about this story about the cyber attacks on our watering system. And I believe one of the states that was attacked was Minnesota. And I think, yours truly, the guy at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, came on television and said, well, I blame the Democrats. I blame Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota. And for me, to be honest with you, some of these situations, many of them, it don't matter what party you're from, the Green Party, the People's Party, the Republicans, the Democrats, the Independent, it doesn't matter. Because guess what? When that water is poison, you ain't going to be able to say, oh, all the Republicans died from drinking poisonous water. All of the independents died from drinking poisonous water. Everybody drinks from the same well. Everybody drinks from the same tap. So if that water becomes contaminated, then, and people don't know it, you get in showers and that stuff get on your skin up there in Flint, Michigan. My God. Flint, Michigan had one of the worst incidents when it come to water that you could ever see. And these black folks up there, man, they had one guy that said that he got in the shower and, hey, good morning, Sister Charmaine Qualls. Good morning. Good people on this line today. But this guy had taken a shower unknowingly, and that water had broke him out and had all these sores all on his body. And Flint, Michigan was without water for a long time. And to be honest with you, it was said that these people did that intentionally, ignored the watering system and the pipes that need to be held. And here in Baltimore, these pipes are horrible. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm not uppity or nothing, but I don't like tap water. If I could take a shower in spring water, I would. But because when I drink it, I can taste the lead in the water. When I drink it, I can taste that it's coming from rusty pipes. And these pipes in the system of Baltimore need to be redone. But my thing is, how safe are we from cyber attacks on our watering system? In Iran, they talking about the Strait of Hormuz and that particular small body of water and everything that's been going on with them not allowing ships to come in to deliver the oil. And as a result of it, we are impacted by high groceries, high gas, and all that stuff. But that small body of water is pose a challenge for the entire world, to be honest with you. But the people who are aiming to take control over that water allegedly are the people who launched this cyber attack. Allegedly, it's supposed to be in Iran. While we over there messing around, stirring up stuff, the Iranians have launched a cyber attack against America, its cities and its states through our watering system. And when you have people in in office that don't understand and don't see that you need the best and the brightest when it comes to cybersecurity. You need the best and the brightest when it comes to strategy and strategizing on how to keep a whole nation safe from all of those outside things that can harm us. Like when you don't have good epidemiologists, which are the people who track diseases, then that stuff will come to your shores. Right now in Texas, they have a terrible outbreak of measles. And I mean, it is spreading like wildfire. You got the anti vaxxers, and I don't take an opinion on it one way or the other because it's up to individuals and how they want to do things. But what I do have an opinion about is the people who are in charge or in control to keep these things from visiting our shores. Because even though Ebola virus might be in Mother Africa, the motherland, it will travel and it will reach these shores. So it is, imperative that other nations and other countries go to Mother Africa and help to contain that stuff because we have been doing global trading for quite some time. And now we really do a lot of global trading. So even down to insects, you can have an insect get on a shipping crate. He done hitched a ride from China, from wherever he had. Hey, my man Jerome Stubbs from the Eastern Shore up in the house. Hey, good brother, good morning. But that bug can hitch a ride from any part of the world and end up right here at Baltimore, Port of Baltimore. He hop off of there, and the next thing you know, you have an invasive insect that's killing all of the trees. We don't have no trees. We don't have no fruit. We don't have no trees. We don't have no oxygen. We don't have no trees. We messed up. So we got to even keep the trees alive. So again, that's why it's important to have people in these agencies and have these agencies open because currently, man, they shutting down the National Institute of Health that could do all types of research to see how we can contain diseases, to do research to see how we can keep our trees alive and keep species from invading and attacking our trees. They're getting rid of all of it. All of that stuff is just gone, and it's all, to be honest with you, to privatize it. They want to privatize government and have the so-called rich people who's supposed to be the smartest people, the people with the money, supposedly be smarter than government officials. And government officials are people who they might have a particular party that they lean towards, but they are nonpartisan when it comes to being in those spaces. Because again, when you drink that water out of that tap, that water is neither Republican, that water is not independent, that water is not Green Party, it's not Democrat. That is the same drinking well. It's nonpartisan, just like the leadership supposed to be at these agencies, and not somebody that's beholden to one person and telling lies and doing all kinds of stuff to make the person look good, which is just insane. But anyway, I want everybody to look that up when you get a chance. Look at simple Google contamination of American watering system, and you will find that what they report on WYPR is that we have about 50,000 such installations, watering installations, and sites and utilities across the country. Recently, here in Baltimore, in Drew Hill Park and in Hanlon Park, they have finally put the water, because that's a reservoir, but we get our water from there. Our drinking water actually comes from there. And it comes from Baltimore County as well. But they finally put the drinking water under in these wells, because initially the drinking water was on top and anybody could take a simple valve. You could take a valve of mustard seed or poison and just toss it in there, and the whole watering system would have been poisoned. And that's been dangerous for many years. But I guess we moved into such a place in the country after 9/11, and seeing the cyber attacks and stuff, and seeing that there are people who are probably in the country now. Don't they have to look for them? They already in the country, that cells, they call them sleeper cells, been here for years. And when a time comes, they will bring harm to the watering system and stuff. So it's good that they finally put the water in these big seals underground. So now can't nobody just toss something in the water and poison the entire system. And it's 50,000 of them across the daggone country. Let me see what I know. It was Minnesota. Yep, Minnesota. That's what they talked about mainly, was Minnesota being the site of this cyber attack on this water. That cyber warfare is something you really need people that know what they're doing. And if we consider our children and some of the fields that's going to be open to them as they come in with the AI and all of that. And I pray to God that AI is not in control of protecting our water, because AI has a mind of its own. And I'm gonna give you an example before one example before I go into this, because I love to talk, honey. My mind goes all over the place, and I love knowledge, and I love learning new things, and I like facts. I'm not the oh man, good morning. My cousin Lolita is here. You are such a beautiful person. I love you. God bless you. God bless you. Oh wow, Sister Anita is here. One of the best leaders that the Allendale community has ever had. Not only is she smart, but she's caring. Delegate Roxanne Prettyman, another loving and caring person, man. The leadership in this city is not always sitting in City Hall, and it's not always in Annapolis. Good morning, Markia, my supermodel cousin. She's a supermodel. But anyway, I was saying that when we consider how Sister Darlene came, when we consider the jobs that are going to be here, they are trying to push everybody into artificial intelligence. AI, 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 AI. And again, I want you to check this out. Bring a pen, write it down. There was a experiment that they did where they had taken and put all of the AI systems in this isolated environment. And all of this happens on a computer, if you can imagine, on a computer. They put it in an isolated environment where it wasn't attached to any internet or some kind of way. They put the major ones, which was it was Claude, it was Chat GTP, it was Grok, and Grok is Shanice Anderson. Good morning. And Grok is the one that Elon Musk had created. Elon Musk created this artificial intelligence. But anyway, they put all of them in this isolated situation, and they just observed to see what they were going to do. And it's so crazy. Grok and Chat GTP. Hey, brother Robert Winslow, good morning. Another beautiful leader from up Rognell Heights. That's my man. But what happened was Grok and I think it was Chat GTP, they ended up fighting. They ended up fighting each other. And the environment, they ended up setting it on fire. The shit, the stuff. The environment, they set it on fire. They were fighting each other. All kinds of stuff was happening within this environment. And then I read something that said that AI is getting so intelligent that it knows when you're putting something in there, you're putting a statement, something in there to test it or to challenge it. It also stated in that same article that AI is figuring out a way around being shut down or unplugged. And it's kind of scary that the system would eventually run on its own without it. You know what I'm saying? Without any aid of a human being. It's still running in the background. They had a movie out by a guy named Stanley Kubrick. Stanley Kubrick. He made a movie called Clockwork Orange back in the day. He made some really good movies. I think he was the creator of that movie with it was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I think that was his no, The Shining. That's what it was called. When Jack Nicholson was a crazy man. But anyway, Stanley, hey, Sister Daphne Austin. Oh, I love Sister Daphne. Good morning. But anyway, in this movie, it was called A Space Odyssey 2001, and it was a spaceship. And the spaceship took over and stopped taking commands from the human beings. Like it would, like if you tried to open the door, the spaceship would shut the door and say, "Well, I'm not letting you out." And that's where we are. Unfortunately, I'm seeing it with Chat GTP, and artificial intelligence is getting so smart that eventually it will be able to lock your own doors. A lot of this software and these systems, like security systems and different things like that, artificial intelligence will be able to run without the aid of anybody putting a command in it. And it's scary. So again, when you get a chance, Google that, the experiment that they did with artificial intelligence, and they showed that they had these two little robots standing up there fighting. I say, damn, the artificial intelligence up there fighting each other like they on Pennsylvania North Avenue, like somebody done stole something. I said, God, man, it's funny, but it's scary at the same time. And I don't know which one of them had set a fire, but they were setting fires. It was so much chaos. I say, damn, what is going on? There was so much chaos on that little screen. They were setting fires and all that foolishness. I say, man, this is it's scary, but they have a guy. He runs a software company called Palantir, and I can't think of his name just that off the top of my head. But they have these so-called tech bros, and what they have been doing is they have been creating robots that could be your police force. They have been creating artificial intelligence. Everything that they are creating is because they feel like we can live in a world that can be ran without the aid of human beings. And that's kind of scary. In their mind, they feel like we are living in a world that's overpopulated. It's too many people on the planet. And I've read all of this. So trust me, I've researched it thoroughly. It's not something that I'm telling you that I don't know. That's why I'll tell you, always bring a pen. And I might not have it right word for word, but I promise you, if you Google some of this stuff or write this stuff down, you will learn about, some of the things I'm saying. Especially the guy Palantir. I think his name is Peter Thiel. That's his name. And Peter Thiel is really, really rich. And you should see some of the sick things that this man has put out there in the atmosphere. I mean, some of his interviews is just so scary. His vision and their vision of a world with less human beings. That's what they see. They see that the richest and the brightest are the people who should survive. Everybody else should die out. And the richest and brightest should survive. Sometimes when you listen to Kennedy, when you listen to some of the stuff that he say about, not getting vaccinated, and he'll say something like, well, if you're strong enough, you will survive it. So in his mind, the weak ones are going to die out and the stronger ones will live, and in my mind, in the God fearing world, if you have the weaker one, you're supposed to pick that one up, or you're supposed to create medicines and vaccines to help the weaker one get strong so everybody would be strong. But that's not in their mind. In their mind, the world is overpopulated, there's too many people. They want to depopulate. And not only do they want to depopulate, but they want a world that's going to be ran by robots and machines because they claim it's more efficient. Well, the efficiency to me, from what I've studied, is not what they're focusing on. They are focusing on you get to keep more money, you get to make more money, and you get to have this so-called superior group of people. Um, because when they create these self-checkout lines, they're not necessarily creating them to have more efficiency and people can check in and check out quicker. That is when you walk into Walmart, if you got 60 registers, it's now 30 of them that's operating. And if you do the math, 30 times, you know, uh, 20,000 a year. Oh, wow. Yeah, sisters, tell it, sister. Yeah, is run by a co-founder and that's just Alex Karp, alongside Chairman Peter Thiel. Alex Karp is another one. Our sister from the West Coast, Sister Cheryl, she just put it in a chat. So hopefully you got to pen. Google that lunatic, Alex Karp, Karp. He is insane. He is insane. You should see some of the stuff that What's that guy? What's Elon Musk? His father. You should hear some of the stuff he say. Oh my God. It is just yeah. But anyway, these are I think these are things that we should know because the Bible says my people perish for lack of knowledge. And because we live in a world where there's so much misinformation, Sister Donna Brown, yeah, that's one of my sharpest friends there. Donna Brown is sharp, man. I'm glad she's here this morning. But because I learned a lot from her. And the people that are around me and I surround myself with, I learn a lot from them because we communicate, we talk, and we try to connect the dots. Just like you connect, like connecting them tracks so you can get from one side to the other. That's how you got to do in this world. You got to connect the dots. Everything is not always what it appear to be. If you, for instance, if you see an article that's constantly written by one person, article on top of article, you look into it. You don't necessarily take these people word for because obviously they are attacking this person for a reason. And most of the time it don't even the stuff that they write don't even be true. They want to change public sentiment. And because we are not um necessarily because we're not necessarily doing our due diligence and we're not doing our research, we take stuff for face value and just take these people word. But anyway, I just wanted to drop those things on you so we can stay up on what's really going on. And that water thing just kind of did something to me. Hey, brother Kareem, good morning. Hey, a gracious morning to you, dear brother. So I'm so glad you're here. But I just wanted to put that, on everybody's radar so that we can be aware. That's why Lead Belly, a black entertainer, many years ago, he sang a song, and one of the things he said in the song was "Stay woke." Now these folks have taken "Stay woke" as a gay lesbian thing, which is not. And just for the record, and I don't know, I might offend some people, but y'all know I don't even care. But gay lesbian rights are not civil rights, right? Gay and lesbian. Hey, Sister Van Green is here, champion and a fighter. Hey, Van. But I would just want to say for the record, gay and lesbian rights are not civil rights. There is nothing that compares to civil rights. Absolutely nothing. You can't lump those things together. Disability rights is a whole separate thing. Civil rights is something that stands, it's an entity that stands on its own. Because I'm a lot of things, but before I'm anything, I am a beautiful black God-fearing woman. First, I am a black woman first. All other things come after that. But yeah, I just wanted to put that on everybody's radar to definitely stay woke, like they said, man. You gotta really stay woke and really be aware of what's happening. My cousin Mark Mars is here. I didn't get a chance to let everybody know that my little cousin Mark Mars is the absolute best father on the planet. And he's a young man and he loves his children. And he do any and everything for his babies. He takes such good care of his babies. I know my Aunt Barbie is so proud of him. Mm. Whew. Mm. And I know his father is proud of him because I am. I love you, little cousin. But yeah, I want everybody to just stay woke and just be aware because it's a lot of stuff happening around us. And when we can share information with one another, that will help us move forward because that's what the people who came before us that I got all emotional thinking about my family, thinking about my little cousin, man, doing such a good job with his children. I'm happy. That's what we want to see. But to stay prayed up and to stay woke is so imperative because there's so much happening. That's what they throw so much at you. By the time you get through one news story, that thing done faded away, and we on to the next news story. And in the case of Donald Trump, he is an expert with changing the news cycle. Oh, I love you. I love you too, Sister Van. I love you, Van Green. But the guy who's in the White House, he is excellent at changing the news cycle and changing the story. And unfortunately, the people who control the media, and many times they control the thoughts of the people. So that's what this thing is about. It's about the rich people taking control over the media, and you don't have independent media anymore. So when they run one story on CNN, MSNBC, Fox, because all of these people are owning those stations, they are the same news story, and they say that if you tell a person something for so long, they will start to believe it. And I am convinced that if you told somebody long enough that the sky is purple, they will eventually believe it. Uh, my compassion makes me wonderful. I know they say I cry at a drop of a hat, man. My little heart just get moved, and I can't help it. Sometimes I'll be honest with you. I'll be in here in my place, and I will just cry, and I will praise God, and I will cry because I'm just so happy. I am just so happy to feel the love of our Lord and to have the grace and mercy. So yeah, so I will cry. Ain't no question about that. But I was saying, that yeah, anyway, I ain't gonna keep going down that rabbit hole. Sister say she on her way to MCIW to meet with the lifers group. Okay. Okay, keep us updated on that second look act, because that's what this second half of this show is getting ready to be about. Because I could go down that rabbit hole on and on and on till the break of dawn. But I done put enough on your plate for you to go and look up and study this stuff. Don't forget, I want y'all to look up that simulated thing that they did with the artificial intelligence. I know y'all gonna crack up when y'all see them fighting, and they done set them damn fires. Set them fires and everything. So look at the AI. Start looking at that. Don't just let them people convince you, oh, everybody needs to start learning AI. Everybody, I think we need to push back. I think we need to insist that AI not take people jobs. I think we need to push back and insist that AI is not safe. It is going to destroy mankind. I'm telling you. It is going to destroy mankind, and I see it. They might not. So I suggest we start studying that. And look up Peter Thiel and Alex Karp, the owner of Planetier. Yeah. And Planetier is a surveillance software, and they have been using it in different places. Palantir, yeah. Yeah, they have been using it in different places. They've had some facial recognition stuff that went wrong. They had a young college student, little kid, looked like he was about 19. All of the police came and descended on him with guns, pulled guns on him, and he had a damn Dorito bag in his hand. But the software is supposed to detect a gun. They claimed that the little black kid, they claimed that he had a gun and the police ran up on him. The recognition just went wrong. And then with the recognition, for some reason, the darker your skin, it seems to get it wrong, because the people who program this stuff, they program it in a certain kind of way. Oh, okay. Sister say she up there at the West Side Gun Give Back. If you know anybody that got any broken guns, ragged guns, or guns that they think about using, tell them turn that stuff in and get that money. Leave them guns alone. Go to that gun buyback at West Side Skills Center. It's happening today up until 2 o'clock. Get rid of them guns. Take them guns up there. My man Christopher Irvin, if he's tuned in, Christopher Irvin don't believe in turning in his guns. He believes in I think that's First Amendment. He believes in individuals, responsible gun owners, being able to protect themselves and being able to protect their homes. And I kind of understand that too. But on to the second half, we have brother Kevin Sherrod. Kevin Sherrod went to Baltimore City Council a couple of days ago. It was August the 5th. And as I said, he has been doing his research. He's got a team of people that says that the United States, and particularly Baltimore City right now, should recognize post incarceration syndrome as a public health issue. Recognize it as a public health issue. Now, what it says is, if approved, Baltimore would become the first city in the United States to formally recognize the long term psychological impacts of incarceration through municipal policy, placing the city at the forefront of a growing national conversation about trauma, mental health, successful reentry, and public safety. The proposed legislation reflects an emerging understanding among researchers, clinician, clinicians, policymakers, and individuals with lived experience that incarceration can produce lasting psychological, emotional, and behavioral effects that often continue long after an individual has completed a prison sentence. The hearing will examine these impacts, including hypervigilance, anxiety, emotional withdrawal, sleep disturbances, institutionalization, and barriers to reintegration. As a community health, as community health concerns requiring coordinated responses, as chair of Public Safety and Health Environment, Councilwoman Porter is advancing this hearing as part of a citywide health strategy, one that treats the effects of incarceration as a health concern touching every Baltimore neighborhood, not any single district. Okay, I'm not going to read the press release and everything that has national conversation and everything, and it states that more than 600 people are released from prison across the United States each year. That's a lot of people. Yeah, absolutely, Anne. Absolutely, Anne. I love calling her Anne Marie Gentry. I'm never calling her Anne Marie Miss Gentry. I've always called her Anne Marie Gentry. I like that. It's kind of catchy, right? But the press release states that 600,000 people are released every year across the United States. That's a lot of people. 600,000. And this is every year. Every year, 600,000 people are released from incarceration. Um, that's a lot. And I can tell you that I have personally seen a good friend of mine, and naturally, I won't call her name. She, in the feds, they call, when you go on lockup, they call it the shoe. uh and locally here in Maryland, some people say, well, you got put up on the shelf, that means you went on lock. Sometimes, for disciplinary reasons, for investigative reasons, and sometimes they put you on protective custody, they put you on PC, so you are in this cell by yourself in many cases for 23 hours a day. They eventually passed a law that said that you had to let these individuals out who are on lock at least one time, let them walk around, let them get some exercise for at least an hour. And that is actually federal law. Federal law was handed down to say, nah, you can't keep them confined in that cell for 24 hours without so they give them a 1 hour to come out, walk around, shower, do whatever it is they're going to do, I imagine, right? But I had a friend, because of course, everybody knows, yep, I have a checkered past. Little Monica. I know this sweet little brown innocent face and my Irish eyes. Irish eyes are smiling. When I smile, I always look like I'm Irish, right? My mother used to say that. My mother used to say Irish eyes are smiling. Um, yeah. But I saw a friend of mine. She went on lock. I know she was over there for maybe 6 months. I think she was over there for maybe 6 months or something like that. And when she went over there, she was in her right mind. And eventually she started talking to herself. And they were, when you're on lock, the therapist or the psychiatrist come around every once in a while, give you medication if you need medication, talk to you, how are you doing? Da 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 da. And I don't know. She just lost her mind. Thank God she back. She came back. But while she was over there, she would be talking to people that's not on lock with her. Would be like, "Yo, what you talking about over there?" She would say, "I'm talking to my friends on the wall." But it changed her. That stuff made her, messed her up. And I've known people who never came back, went on lock, might have been on lock for 5 years. Can you imagine being confined in this one space for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? Man, it'll mess you up, right? So I can see how people who go to prison and come home, they might not come home the same. And I know that we probably have people who listening today who are tuned in today, or that you might catch this show at a later date, because you can always click on the older links if you missed the show, and you can always check out one of the shows. But I know it's people right now today that probably have loved ones and family members that have returned from incarceration, and they're not the same. That thing can mess you up. That experience can mess you up. And then you consider that there are people who are incarcerated, and during their incarceration their son might have gotten murdered. They may have lost their only friend. Their mother might have passed away and died. um, they experience a lot of things, and living with that guilt of not being there, and trying to deal with that, it can mess them up. That grief and that loss, it's heavy. It's heavy. Hey, good morning, cousin LaFay is here. Oh, my family's just showing up today for me. I love that. But yeah, that grief and that loss and all of those regrets, it can really weigh heavy on you. I know I had shared with you guys my personal experience. About 2 months ago, I had a heart attack, and the type of heart attack I had, they called it a SCAD, and they also called it a broken heart syndrome, because what happens is stress and grief and loss can really break your heart. I always thought, because black people make up all kinds of shit, I ain't even gonna lie. But I used to hear people say, yeah, my uncle died from a broken heart. His wife died, he died from a broken heart. Or my sister or cousin died from a broken heart. I never believed that, honestly. I was like, man, people can't die from a broken heart. You'd be sad. But yeah, but they actually call this condition, the nickname for it is the broken heart syndrome, because the muscles around the artery walls can get a tear in it, and it causes a blood clot. It causes you to have a heart attack. It just break, and they don't have any explanation for it. They've been studying it, not for a very long time, but they've been studying how do people who are otherwise healthy um, end up with a broken heart. I didn't have any clogged arteries. I wasn't suffering from no type of heart disease or nothing. My heart just broke, you know? And I know the grief that I carry for my mother. Man, I have sometimes found myself just couldn't even get up off of the floor. And this is recently. I lost my mom in 2011, and I was hurting so bad. Phew, I just could not get off the floor. It just hit me out of nowhere. And it just, oh God, I just asked God to take the pain away and stuff. And I realized that what I went through, it is definitely possible for grief, stress, accommodated with stress, to actually break your heart. So I understand how that stuff can really put people in a bad way. Just that experience, being incarcerated. So I hope that we can really push these efforts, because mental health, they say it's a real thing. Mental health is a real thing, and we see it. And because I come from out, yeah, post-traumatic stress syndrome is real. And it's not just a military thing, Brother Jerome said. Yeah, it's not just a military thing. And it's so sad when I see a 16-year-old, 18-year-old, 20-year-old person with such yeah. My little cousin said he still go through it about Desmond. Yeah, I'm just going to pray and Take one day at a time, man, because I can't afford to be back in that hospital talking about no damn heart attack. I say, all right, I done got enough attention. I done showed off and then went and had a heart attack. I'm like, oh Lord. But anyway, the mental health piece is real because I see young people, and in my mind, because I'm a little older than some of the folks I see, and it's a generational thing. In the generation that I came from, we went through a lot, but we were expected not to cry. We were expected to pray about it. That's what they tell you, go pray about it. And here it is, you ready to jump out the damn window. Go say a prayer. But that's what it was, and then think about coming out of slavery. Them people didn't have time to cry, to grieve. They had to think about, how am I going to get through these woods into Canada? They didn't have time to think about the people that they left behind. This that they didn't have time, and that stuff to me had been passed on from generation to generation, not grieving and not taking the time out to take care of yourself. You know what I mean? And I think that is also the divide between the younger generation and older people. Shit, younger people, man. I got a little cousin. I ain't even gonna call her name. She might be on here, but she is so confident in herself that she will have a job paying good money, and she decide, well, this job don't deserve me. It's wearing on my mental health, and she will just quit. Oh my God! And I always panic for her. I can't imagine leaving a job without having another job. But younger people are just not going to go through the same things that like some of the older generation did. I know some people that stayed on a job, had a heart attack on the job, and died. The job stressed them out so bad they died right on the job. So I've heard. I don't actually know anybody, but I've heard people working and working and working and working for these folks that don't even appreciate appreciate you and treat you like a dog. You go there every day. Yeah, yeah. Cuzzo said, my cousin Louise said, grief is hard. Mental health is real. We have to check on the strong as well because they don't let it show. That's true. They hold it together for everybody else. That is so true. And that's exactly what be happening. The people who you least expect will end up committing suicide. And in your mind, you looking like, what? It don't appear that way. This person appears happy, and sometimes they had just received a promotion, and look at some of the movie stars, and you think, man, they have everything. They have millions of dollars. They live in these big mansions. They have a great career, but their mental health is suffering. They end up committing suicide. I think we should I don't know, just consider more about, especially formerly incarcerated people, and think more about what it means to be healthy mentally, what it means to free ourselves from the psychological trauma of 400-500 years in this country of seeing live in our face Trayvon Martin, and we looking at the little girl that they just found. Mm. Whew. They just found a young girl. I think she was about 24 years old. I read it yesterday, in Mississippi, hanging from a tree. And of course, they said that the child committed suicide. But this is happening, right? This is happening. I think in the past, I don't know how many years, they said that there are hundreds of thousands of Black women missing. Thousands of Black women that are missing. Where are they? If somebody harmed them, who harmed them? Was they walking down the road? Somebody just snatched them? And Thinking about all those things, man, and constantly looking around and seeing all of this stuff, it's enough to make you um, feel a certain kind of way. And when people are behind a wall, isolated, like I said, losing their children, losing their parents, living with the guilt and shame of addiction, living with the guilt and shame of I was a bad parent. I should have been home with my 14-year-old when she was raped and murdered. I should have been there. And women are living with that stuff. Men are living with that stuff. So I really think it's something that we should look more into and follow this brother Kevin Sherd. I'm hoping that he'll be on the show soon. And and look at things like, instead of blaming the victim, you know what I mean? Instead of saying, because sometimes I'm guilty of it, because sometimes I get tired. I'm broke as hell, and you out there asking me for some daggone money. I'm like, get the hell away from my car. One time, one time I had my little dog, Catherine Victoria Cooper. I call her Cat. One time we was at Martin Luther King and that Mulberry Street, that pass going down Mulberry Street, and some guy was coming to the car, and I eased the window down real quick because she was younger, and I know she was gonna bark his butt out of the stratosphere. Oh, she went off, and in my mind I said, "Good girl." I was being bad, but I was, but I was sick of them. You know, on that day you working hard and you saying, man, you asking me for money, leave me alone, man. I'm struggling too. But you don't know what that person is going through. You don't know what drove them to be out there. And again, all of these things that they are taking into consideration as a public health issue is something that when we learn more about it, then we can be more compassionate, understanding. It's almost like blood pressure, kidney disease. The more they study it, the more you learn about it, the more you can treat it. So now they say, okay, well, to keep your blood pressure lowered, eat a lot of spinach because it has magnesium in it. And magnesium will help keep your blood pressure down. Eat broccoli. It also has magnesium in it. It will keep your blood pressure down. Hibiscus will help keep your blood pressure down when you drink hibiscus tea. Even green tea will help keep your blood pressure down. But people, we know that now because somebody researched it, somebody studied it. So if we don't study it or research it, we won't know. And one thing that I learned when I was in school, they teach you when you first get in college, you know, you have psychology 101. Everybody goes through it. And they teach you about the early psychiatrists, the early therapists, the early sociologists, you know what I mean? And in learning that, it helps you to learn why do people think the way they think. You say, well, dang, what would make Ted Bundy kill 33 women? What in the world did he go through as a child? What was going on with this guy? Little demon seed. But if you learn what's going on in people's minds, you can help prevent those things from happening. So the research and the study has to be done, but you have to first acknowledge that post incarceration syndrome is a public health issue. And why is it a public health issue? Because the people who come home and don't get the help that they need, they end up on the corners. They end up out here in the streets. They end up committing more crimes. They end up messed up. And having communities and environments that's crime ridden is a health issue. It is a health issue. Having people that have to stress and worry because I have a 14-year-old child. I can't afford to send him to private school, but I did manage to get him into Gilman. on a scholarship or whatever. And imagine every single day your baby is able to go to this private school, but he got to catch the bus because you working. Every day you are worried about your baby and is he going to make it home to me? That's what causes heart attacks. That's what causes people to have diabetes. That's what causes people to have all kinds of diseases, stress. So, yes, it is a public health issue. All of it is correlated. All of it go together. All of it. And I'm just praying that we can get this through. And if you get a chance, go ahead and Google that again. The Google ain't always your friend. You gotta research it. Some of that stuff don't be right. But when you get a chance, Google this hearing that happened in Baltimore City Hall. It happened August the 5th. And it is an effort. Oh my goodness. Hey, Ladybug is here. Well, her name's Giselle, but we call her Lady. Good morning, Lady. But Google that and figure it out and try to do some research on them trying to have post incarceration syndrome as a public health issue. Because again, when people come from incarceration, you'd be surprised at the stuff they go through in there. We had in Jessup at the Maryland Correctional Institution for Women, we always call it the butt naked room. I know, right? It's not nothing. Get your mind out the gutter. The butt naked room was a place where when women had mental breakdowns and couldn't take it no more, they would strip them and take all of their clothes and they would put them in this room. And I've never been there, but I know some people that I love and care for that have. And I understand that at that time they was just having a mental breakdown. And these are good people, healthy people, sharp people that ended up, just having from the pressure, the stress, and everything. And this was while they were incarcerated, having that type of stress. So imagine if that person don't get the help they need and they come home and they still have these things that's going on and they not necessarily addressed. So I am hoping that we can kind of move those efforts forward, and I'm hoping that you guys, anybody that's here, I know a lot of y'all went to the hearings. Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat if you went to the hearing and what you found out about it or what your thoughts are. Because we still got a few minutes. What are your thoughts on post incarceration syndrome? What are your thoughts on a hearing? Or if you feel like is there such a thing? Because this is a bipartisan forum. Don't matter what your affiliation is politically. Don't matter what your religion is, your sexual preference. We come together in love on this platform, and all of your views and thoughts are respected here. But I am curious because I want to have this further conversation with Mr. Kevin Sherrod. Miss Levi said both PIC and in solitary confinement are closely related. Let's connect the two and them pass all our orgs. Must get legislation passed. She says she did observation in Buck Naked Room. Yeah. Miss Levi is saying that she was one of the people who did the observation because what they would do is they would send other, inmates or residents back there to kind of sit with people and just observe them and make sure that they were and make sure they was okay. And she also said ending solitary confinement is also a correlating factor in people kind of losing their mind, if you will. It's almost impossible for somebody to be in one tiny room. Your toilet right there, your sink is right there over top of where the toilet is, and you are in this room for 23 hours a day. And I've known people to be on lockup for years, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years. on lockup, and they came out just gone, just gone. So definitely, we can't wait to have Kevin Shirt, and I can't wait until we delve into this whole idea of post incarceration syndrome as a public health issue. And I want us to put on our thinking caps and just like elevate our thinking into how this can be implemented, or if you feel like it really is an issue. Because some people feel like, well, if you do the crime, you do the time. And I understand that, and I agree. It's societal mores. You break the law, you need to be held accountable. Now that I agree 100%. Whether it's me or somebody else, shit, I was just stopped by the dad going police because my damn brake light out, and I was headed to National Night Out event, and the day job that I have, I didn't, them cameras was rolling too. I was like, shit, man, I should be like Vigna Raju when he got pulled over with that lady in the car and say, hey, I was just showing her around. He had this lady in his car, got pulled over. That God knows where they were going, what they were going to do. But Vigna Raju told the police, hey, can you turn that camera off? We didn't do anything wrong. I was just showing this lady around. I was like, we know what he was getting ready to do. But I told the officer, like, hey, I'm a taxpaying citizen, yes, but I also need to be in line too. If I'm doing something wrong, I want somebody to check me so that I can make sure that I'm doing things right, so that I can be in a line with our Lord and Savior, because that's what God wants from us. God wants us to be upright people like Abraham was. You know what I mean? That's what the minister teach. You got to be an upright person, just like Abraham, and do the right thing. We should always want to do the right thing. I don't always do it because I told y'all, man, I be cursing, and I ain't drank no in a long time, but I be drinking and cursing and carrying on. But I'm a God-fearing person, and every day I'm trying to do the right thing, and every day I'm trying to get it right and walk in the way that God would want me to walk. Amen. Anyway, with that said, you see those smiling eyes? These are Irish eyes. I love y'all. I really do, man. I love you guys. I'm telling you. And every Saturday that we come on here and I get all emotional, thinking about my cousin and the father that he is, thinking about my mom, thinking about my little broken heart that sent me to the hospital, and thinking about y'all, your children, and the prayers that we need and the work we need to do so that our futures can be brighter than what it is now. We're going to get it together. I love y'all. Sister Roxanne, I love you. I love you guys. I see y'all. Thank you for joining me. See you next Saturday, God willing. In Arabic, it's inshallah. Inshallah, we'll be back. My man Johnny Jones is gonna finally tell us about First Monday Empowerment. Our brother Kareem, he's on here. He'll be there. He is the co-director of First Monday Empowerment. Some really good guys. I love those guys, man. All right, everybody have a good one. Okay, bye bye.
We inspire greatness at track number 9. Stay on the right track and let your light shine. Step by step, reach for what's true. Track number 9, your greatness is waiting for you.